Hi, my name is Bash Watson, and today I would like to talk about a rundown that I have built in Rundown Creator, where basically the show is geared towards college sports fans. We start off with college basketball because it's late February and we're getting ready for March Madness. Over the weekend, we got to see a lot of games where it was ranked teams playing up against each other. We got to see some of the teams that might make it to the Final Four play up against each other. So right after the lead, I wanted to get right into that, right into where we are currently in the state of college basketball, which is past weekend that all the games have played. And then right after that, we can get into looking forward into the future of college basketball, which would be March Madness. So we start off with the March Madness bracket preview. There's been one that came out that had all the seeds in there. So I started with that, with the preview. That would be a full screen, just displaying all the different teams and the rankings. And then right after that, we'll go into the best college players from those teams. So as of right now, we kind of know who are going to be the top couple of draft picks. At least we have an idea. So I wanted to break that down, go more in depth, right? So start off with the games, and then start off and then go into the bracket, and then go into the specific players on these teams. So I will start off with a VO talking about all different players and what they bring to teams, and then right in after that we go straight into a full screen where we talk about the projected draft picks, the score that they're from, the position that they play, and the position, the number that they should be going into in the draft, at least the projected rankings where they would go. And then the next story into that would be, all right, now let's single out one person who would be Darren Peterson, mainly because he's in the headlines right now. Everybody's talking about him. You go on social media, you go everywhere, and he's kind of like, talk of the town. So I will lead into that. We will talk about Darren Peterson and just about how he's taking time off from playing the game when he shouldn't be. He's taking himself out of games. He's saying he has cramps and stuff like this and why he can't play. So that being a pretty big story, just being the fact that he's kind of like the first college player who's done load management, which is something that the NBA is very known for doing. So then we'll go into that. We'll have a full screen talking about the games that he's missed and kind of his reasonings behind it. And then I was able to find a Bill Self site. He is the head coach for Kansas right now, who is the team that Darren Peterson plays on. And basically, you're talking about like, he doesn't enjoy what Darren Peterson is doing. So I figured we can go right into that and then have like a little bit of a reader just because there's a lot of information still to be said. So have like a 30-second reader just talking about just kind of wrapping up the story, kind of like just tag up the story. And then we'll go straight to our bump going into the mock draft. So the reason I did it that way is because this is a college sports pod or not podcast but show. So I wanted to still talk about college sports and transition to football just because this is also a pretty big deal. It's drafts are coming up and things like that. So start off with the number one pick, who everybody is already guessing is going to be Fernando Mendoza. Talk about him, and that would be an interview where we have a draft analyst come on, and he would be talking about people talking about like what Fernando Mendoza can bring to the Raiders, and then we'll go into a full screen with his highlights, and this would pretty much be the entire format for the second half of the show for the B block. It would just be ask a question. Who does the number two pick would be the Jets, right? So it'd be who do you see the number two Jets getting, and then he'll say something like Ruben Bain, and then we'll go into Ruben Bain's highlights, talking about what he brings to the team. We'll go into a full screen with his stats on there, and then we'll go to the next person. And basically, that would just be the top five, just for time management, right? We don't want to have it too long, so we'll just do top five picks, projected picks, and we'll end the show off there. Yeah, so that would pretty much be my rundown creator, or excuse me, my rundown for the show that I created, and yeah, so I want this to pretty much air the day right after the weekend gameplay because that's when we was talking about all of the weekend games. So this would be a Monday right after all the weekend games. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Purple Toys trains law enforcement and other agencies in firearm proficiency after noticing gaps in safety and efficiency.
Just to give you a little simple thing, meaning even if we up 9% on the proficiency test of security guards and school guardians, around probably 25 to 35% of all the people, of all those security guards and school guardians that have a firearm would not qualify.
Tours is taking initiatives to create a safer environment by attempting to increase the standards. Right now, law enforcement and school security guards only need to score 70% to pass a firearms proficiency test. In a high stress situation, your level of proficiency can drop tremendously. This doesn't just affect local departments, even agencies like the Secret Service face these issues.
You have one supposedly Secret Service agent that even had problem holstering their gun. Very basic things. Somebody had to sign up a proficiency test for that agent to be on service.
Not only does Herford Torres write blogs about gun safety, he also travels across the country to police departments to improve the standards of law enforcement.
You go to the department and you said, hey, we have footage of your officers that don't know how to use a firearm. Maybe you pass them, I don't know why or how, but they don't even know how to hold the firearm efficiently in a moment of emergency.
Some departments refuse to invest in proper training for employees, leaving Torres to write a proposal to the government in an effort to improve gun safety.
The future for guns looks good as long as we continue to offer training and train our folks that buy firearms, responsible use of firearms and training.
Despite the challenges, at Gun Expert, they're staying optimistic.